Hey everyone, how we doing out there? Southern Indiana, it's a nice spring day, so I thought I'd come outside. Of course, as soon as I did, then my neighbor started to mow his yard, and then the other neighbor, after he was done, they have a hound dog, so it likes to howl a lot. But I think everything's good now. Hopefully, everybody's having nice weather in Indiana. This will officially be my last video going out to the entire state on a regular basis anyways, because some of the videos that I do that are for everybody or kind of include the whole association I'll send out, but in general, this will just my territory. Jesse is on the road. He's been out last week visiting lodges, and I think he's communicated with all the lodges about contacting him for any issues that arise. This video, though, I think some things he'll be able to learn as well. Some of the things I'm going to talk about is our numbers right now. I'm going to talk about Premier Lodge Awards and a little bit of LCL work. I'm going to talk about AR payments and endowments, paid employees, or more importantly, elected officers and who can be paid and who can't be paid. And lastly, but not leastly, volunteers for International Convention in Reno. So it's a little lengthy, and I do apologize, but I got to get a lot of information out. So here we are coming to the end of the moose year. We only got a few weeks left, and I always start getting lots of questions. We try to educate all year long. We try to tell everybody to watch their numbers all year long, and then they feel the crunch come this last month, and I start getting a lot of phone calls, text, emails, and they all kind of cover the same problems from around the state. So it's just easier to put it out in this communication form as opposed to emailing back each lodge or texting back each lodge when 4 or 5 lodges may have the same question. And I've always said this as well: when I do one of these videos and I put this information out, it's because the issues have arisen in several lodges. If I have a problem or a question from just one lodge and it's specific, I'm going to deal with them directly. But usually when it's on here, it means there are lots of lodges having the same issues. So first, let's talk about weekly stats and numbers right now. As of today, the association is still about 1,600 and some odd members down for the year. I want to give kudos to the North right now. They're just shy of, they're in the high 400s, almost 500 short. But the rest of that, almost 1,200, 1,175, I believe, is the South. South, we've got to do our job. We've got to really get out there and beat those bushes and make sure we're doing something to get our members to renew. My suggestion always is, have a free meal night when they come in and pay their dues. Let them have a free meal. Look at doing moose bucks, something like that. Put them in for a drawing, for a gift card or a gas card of some sort. But encourage them to come in and renew their dues because we're really down this year, and that shouldn't be happening. We should be getting people coming back into our lodges now that we're really past the COVID situation. Excuse me. Also, along those lines, a lot of lodges out there are leaving applications open in LCL. I mean, you're putting them in and then forgetting to enroll them once they've been elected, or voted on and for their membership. Now, I understand we're not talking about like a couple of weeks. Lots of lodges, you put those applications in right away. We want you to do that, and then it may sit there for 2 weeks because they have to be voted on. That part I understand, but we're getting applications sitting in there that have been in there for more than a month, even longer than that. And we try to contact those lodges to remind them when they've been out there that they've got somebody out there and it's been so long they need to look as to the reason why. Also, please don't hold back applications because it's the end of the year and you want them to roll over to the first of next year. I don't suggest doing that. Those members don't get their cards until they have been put in LCL and then enrolled. Once they get that enrollment date, then they get a card sent out to them. So we don't want to make them wait, 2 months or more, and they're wondering why they haven't gotten their membership card yet. Also, it's time, the end of the year, so we're looking at Premier Lodge Awards and all those other things we need to put into LCL. So when it comes to orientations and enrollments, make sure those are in there. Again, that's up to the territory manager to go and find them and approve them. So again, Jesse, Mark may have handled it different up north as well. Basically, you have to offer that orientation or enrollment. Even if nobody shows up, you still get credit for it. Our job is to make sure that you put it on, or we're at least offering it. So when we go into a lodge, I'm looking in a newsletter, I'm looking on a flyer on the wall, it's on social media that they were having an orientation, the first meeting of the month or whatever, or however they're doing that. That's what we're looking for. But you need to make sure you put them in. You have to have 6 throughout the year. Now, they're not going to let you make up at the end of the year and have 2 in 1 month or 2 in, back-to-back weeks or something like that. You won't get that approved. It needs to be spaced out, preferably every other month. But even if you're started out earlier in the other month, if you're doing it once a month, that's perfectly fine, and you can have more than 6. That's okay as well. Also, if you've had those or have offered them and haven't put them in LCL, you can backdate them. You can also future date them. So if you know that the first Monday of every month is your meeting, and that's when you're having your orientation, you can go ahead and put those in there, and then it's our job to go check those off as they happen. Also, you need to make sure you have your officers in there correctly and make sure the dates, starting dates and ending dates are correct for them. If they either resigned or removed or whatever, they should have an ending date. If they're just following into the next year, dropping off April 30th like they normally would, you don't put an ending date. LCL will do that automatically, but make sure they have the proper starting date. We want somebody to get credit, especially if they've been in there, at least 6 months. We want to make sure they're getting credit for that. Also, make sure that your AR payments and your endowments are sent in. Again, you get your statement of account, your AR payment, the first few days of each month. You need to make sure that's being sent off in a timely manner. Same thing with endowment. We seem to be getting that confused in a lot of lodges. So let's just take example, we're in April now, and you should have been collecting for all of March, and then the first few days or weeks, but hopefully by the 15th of April, you send in what you collected in March. So even though you collected in March, it's your April endowment. It's when Moose Moose Charities is going to receive that check. So if they receive it in April, you're going to get credit for April giving endowment. You can't send more than one check at a time. I mean, you can, but if you send more than one check at a time, you're only going to get credit for giving in April. You're not going to get credit for March and April or April and May. It's going to be for April when they receive that check. You can't send it 3 weeks late in April and then say that is March endowment because they're collecting it in April. Yes, that's the money you collected in March. You can send it in April, but you're going to get credit in April. So just make sure those are sent off in a timely manner. If you are a Premier Lodge and you're it's behind for some reason, remember you can go on to Moose Charities website and you can donate through the website that way, and then it's instantaneous. Excuse me. Been getting this question because we got a lot of new officers coming in, and people asking about how and who can get paid as an officer. Elected officers in the lodge cannot be paid or a paid employee other than the administrator. Again, I say elected officers because junior past president, once they become, once they're done being president, that is a position by condition, and they can get paid as an employee. Now, any appointed officer can be a paid employee of the lodge. Moose Legion officers can be paid members of the lodge, and same thing with the chapter. A chapter officer can be a paid employee of the lodge. They just cannot be a elected officer on the lodge. Technically, that means they can't be their own boss other than the administrator, which the administrator is not the boss. The board is the boss of the administrator. The board as a whole. Excuse me. Now, people that have businesses, those businesses can be paid for their services. So let's just say, for example, myself, and let's say I'm an officer in the lodge. Let's say I'm a vice president in the lodge. I can't get, let's say I have doesn't matter what it is, whether it's a landscaping company, a cleaning company, or whatever it might be. I can't get a check written to me, Dan Evans, for being a janitor. But if I have a legitimate business and it's Evans Cleaning Service can get paid, and that can come out of gaming, but they can get paid for their job. Now, I did the work, but my company was being paid, not me directly. Now, I will say this. You need to make sure of a couple of things. You need to make sure that I have a legitimate cleaning service to start with. You can't just make up, DE cleaning service and there not be a legitimate business because I'm not bonded if I don't have a legitimate service. So you need to make sure they actually have a cleaning company or a landscaping company or whatever it is that they actually do business with. If you're forging a check, or excuse me, if you're writing a check that says, Evans Cleaning Service on it, and no Evans Cleaning Service exists, you're forging a check. That is incorrect. You can get in trouble for doing that. They have to have a legitimate business. They will either have a tax ID number or they will have a doing business as, Dan Evans doing business as Evans Cleaning, and my social security number would actually be that tax ID number. But again, you cannot pay employees directly. I said that wrong. Elected officers cannot be getting paid. They cannot be paid bartenders. They cannot be paid janitors directly, anything like that. If they're bartending and they're an elected officer, they have to be volunteer. They cannot collect any compensation. Again, they cannot collect any compensation. They are volunteering their time. Excuse me. Okay, last but leastly, since we're at almost 12 minutes now, since it's going out to everybody, I will remind in the email that I'll be sending out today, we're going to be looking for volunteers to work the convention in Reno. There's been lots of people that volunteer in the past that kind of know what it is. There's basically a couple different jobs. They're either wanting help in the gift shop, the supply house, whatever you want to call it, and then registration. They're usually 2-hour shifts. They're not super complicated. Registration, you're doing paperwork, handing packets out, something like that. In the gift shop, you're doing one of a couple different jobs. You're either the person at the door, making sure we're only letting so many people in at a time, kind of tracking that. There's probably somebody on the exit door doing the same thing. Make sure nobody's bringing drinks in, things like that. Then there's also somebody inside that, as the Moose International staff is ringing up at the cash register, you're helping put the items, bagging them up for the member to take off. And then there's also somebody collecting those baskets and then putting them back by the entrance door, so members as they come in can grab a basket to collect stuff while they're in there. Pretty simple stuff. In the email, it will have what I asked for. I need to know their name, the lodge they're from, a contact number, a cell phone number, not a home phone number, an email so they can get information. And it will on that also request, if they want to work the gift shop or registration. I can't guarantee you'll get that, but they do ask if they have enough people and to give you the choice of that. So administrators, make sure you're bringing that up to any of your officers that might be going to Reno. We've always had a good group of people that have jumped up to volunteer in the past, so hopefully that group will do that again. And I'm at 13 minutes. So everybody have a good week. Get out there and let's try to work those numbers. Hopefully we'll see some of you folks up north when the chairman of the board comes for his visit this week. That should be a lot of fun. And be my last video to everybody for a while. So you all have a good week. Everybody take care. Bye.